Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood. Since today is Memorial Day here in the United States, I thought what better topic to cover than the Marine Corps War Memorial in Arlington, Virginia. But before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell fact from fiction. Consider this. The massive statue depicts 6 figures raising an American flag, and many people notice there are some interesting optical illusions with it. Some say that if you look carefully, you might notice a 13th hand sculpted on the flagpole. They claim the artist wanted to add an extra hand to symbolize the collective spirit of the entire Marine Corps assisting the men. What do you think? Is this an actual fact or just too good to be true? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Our word for today is tableau. That's T-A-B-L-E-A-U. A tableau is defined as a graphic depiction or a striking representation of a scene by a group of people who are properly posed and remain silent and motionless. The word is often used to describe historical reenactments, dramatic stage arrangements, or three-dimensional artistic monuments that capture a specific moment frozen in time. The word tableau comes from the French. It translates literally to mean a small table or a picture or painting. The French root traces back to the Latin word tabula, which refers to a writing tablet or a plank of wood. When you visit a monument like the Marine Corps War Memorial, you're viewing a historical tableau cast in solid metal designed to permanently preserve a fleeting moment from World War II. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about the Marine Corps War Memorial. Number 1. The memorial was designed to create an optical illusion so the flagpole appears to rise as visitors walk around the base. Sculptor Felix de Weldon designed the figures and the flagpole utilizing principles of forced perspective and kinetic alignment. As a visitor walks around the surrounding path, the changing sight lines cause the bronze soldiers to shift in relation to each other. This apparent shifting movement creates a visual impression that the men are actively straining and pushing the pole upward in real time. The illusion relies on human binocular vision and the open spatial positioning of the figures on the sloped rock. The effect is enhanced by the diagonal angle of the 60-foot bronze flagpole against the horizon line. Because there's not a flat vertical background, your brain looks for other clues using the shifting positions of the bronze helmets and boots to determine the trajectory of the pole. As you move around the monument, the overlapping limbs appear to untangle, making the pole look like it's transitioning from a low angle to fully upright. Number 2. The sculptor based his design on a Pulitzer Prize-winning photograph, but used live models to complete the faces. The memorial statue recreates an iconic photograph taken by Associated Press photographer Joe Rosenthal during the Battle of Iwo Jima on February 23, 1945. Sculptor Felix de Weldon was serving in the United States Navy when he saw the picture and immediately constructed a small-scale model. Once the Grand Monument project was approved, de Weldon wanted to be as accurate as possible in his depiction of each of the 6 historical individuals. He located the 3 surviving flag raisers from the photograph and had them model in person at his studio. The 3 survivors, Rene Gagnon, Ira Hayes, and John Bradley, sat for hours while the sculptor captured their likenesses in clay. For the three men who died later during the island fighting, de Weldon utilized archived military photographs to reconstruct their likenesses. Those three men were Michael Strank, Harlan Block, and Franklin Sousley. While John Bradley and Rene Gagnon's faces are immortalized in the statue, research later revealed it was actually two other men who were in the original photograph. So I want to acknowledge Harold Schultz and Harold Keller, identified in 2016 and 2019 respectively. They were the ones actually pictured in the flag-raising photograph that was inspiring to so many. And this creates an interesting sort of paradox in the statue. The monument's figures officially pay tribute to the battlefield actions of Schultz, Keller, and the others in the photograph, but the literal faces in the bronze are from the men who sat in de Weldon's studio. Number 3. Creating the monument required a complex casting process that divided the sculpture into more than 100 pieces. The artist initially constructed the full-scale model using plaster over the internal steel frame at his studio in Washington, D.C. Once the plaster model was finished, workers carefully disassembled the massive shapes into 108 separate pieces to prepare for casting. The pieces were loaded onto trucks and transported to the Betty Rassi Art Foundry in Brooklyn, New York. Skilled artisans spent nearly 3 years transforming the plaster shapes into a durable copper and tin bronze alloy. After the foundry workers finished casting and cleaning the metal, they joined the small sections together into about a dozen larger segments. They still had to keep it in pieces, though, for the transport because the largest section weighed more than 20 tons. A convoy of 3 large flatbed trucks brought the heavy bronze segments back to the permanent site in Arlington, Virginia. Workers there used heavy cranes to lift the pieces into place, where they bolted and welded the seams together permanently. Number 4. The stone base is made from a rare granite and weighs hundreds of tons. The bronze figures stand atop a jumble of rocks that rests on a 10-foot-high circular base. This heavy base consists of a thick concrete core covered with blocks of polished Swedish black granite. The total weight of this masonry foundation is about 700 tons, providing a stable anchor for the monument. Workers polished the stone surfaces to a high shine, creating a nice contrast to the weathered green patina of the bronze figures above. Engraved in the granite blocks are the names and dates of every principal Marine Corps engagement since the founding of the branch in 1775. The letters are burnished with gold leafing to ensure readability. The stone also features a historical tribute statement from the Fleet Admiral Chester Nimitz regarding the battle. The inscription states, quote, "Uncommon valor was a common virtue." And our 5th and final fun fact for today. The Battle of Iwo Jima marked the costliest conflict in Marine Corps history up to that point. The capture of Mount Suribachi, depicted by the monument, was a critical turning point in a brutal 36-day battle for control of strategic airfields. Imperial Japanese forces dug an intricate network of 11 miles of underground tunnels and 1,500 bunkers throughout the volcanic island, completely hidden from initial Allied bombing raids. This defensive strategy resulted in thousands of casualties, 6,821 deaths, making it the costliest conflict in Marine Corps history up to that point. The photograph and subsequent monument transformed the tragedy of the island fighting into a permanent symbol of American resilience and national identity. The visual impact of the composition was so great, the U.S. government featured the image on 3 million war bond posters to stabilize the nation's wartime finances. Today, the monument stands not only for a single military branch, but as a global visual shorthand for collective effort and sacrifice during a global conflict. And here's a little bonus fact for today. The iconic photograph that inspired the monument actually depicts the second flag raising of that afternoon. On the morning of February 23rd, 1945, U.S. Marines successfully raised a small American flag atop Mount Suribachi, which provided a massive morale boost to the troops below, at least those who could see it. Commanders deemed the original flag too small to be seen from the beaches, ordering a second, much larger flag to replace it later that afternoon. Associated Press photographer Joe Rosenthal scaled the mountain just in time to capture this second installation, creating a split-second image that ultimately won a Pulitzer Prize and inspired the famous monument. Now for some news you can use. If you plan to visit the Marine Corps War Memorial, the best strategy is to arrive right around sunset or during the evening hours. The National Park Service illuminates the entire structure with bright spotlights after dark, casting dramatic shadows that highlight the muscles and details of the bronze figures. Also, a special presidential proclamation signed by President John F. Kennedy in 1961 mandates that a real cloth American flag fly from the pole 24 hours a day. Seeing the flag wave in the evening breeze against the lighted bronze creates a powerful visual experience. Visiting at night also helps you avoid the heavy daytime crowds and traffic. The memorial sits in Arlington Ridge Park, directly north of Arlington National Cemetery, and offers a clear view of the Washington Monument and the U.S. Capitol building across the Potomac. The evening atmosphere is peaceful, allowing you to walk slowly around the granite base, read the historical battle honors, and just have a moment of quiet reflection without interruption. Finally, the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked, do you believe that rumor that the sculptor hid a 13th hand on the flagpole to symbolize a broader collective helping hand? It's a great story, but it's also a fallacy. The rumors circulated for decades among tourists, but a careful inspection of the bronze sculpture shows exactly 12 hands, which corresponds perfectly with the 6 figures in the action. The illusion of an extra hand often comes from the specific overlapping arrangement of the limbs in the flagpole. The arms are clustered tightly together to show the intense physical exertion of pushing the heavy post into the ground. Sculptor Felix de Weldon himself weighed in, denying the rumor during his lifetime, stating unequivocally he only sculpted 2 hands for each of the 6 historical men. There's no extra hand representing an unseen force guiding them, because the monument is paying tribute to the awe-inspiring strength, courage, and extraordinary achievements of otherwise ordinary men. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about the Marine Corps War Memorial with me today. Be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.